My name is Lauren Mitchell. I'm 31 years old, and 3 months ago, my boyfriend told me I hadn't done anything worth posting about. He didn't say it like a joke. He said it like a metric. I had just walked into his apartment after work, still in my wrinkled blouse and sensible flats, my laptop bag digging into my shoulder. He was standing in front of his full-length mirror, doing that thing again, holding his phone at slightly different angles, flexing his jawline like it owed him money. Click, check. Grimace. Adjust the shirt. Click again. Hey, I said, nudging the door shut with my hip. Rough day at the algorithm factory? He didn't even look at me, just squinted at his reflection. Babe, quick thing, he said. Can you update your relationship status on Facebook? I set my bag down, already half smiling because I thought maybe, finally, this was that moment. The one I'd been pretending I didn't care about. Oh, I said. You changing yours? His phone camera shutter clicked again. My friend's girlfriend just did this whole surprise announcement thing, he said. He posted this cute video of them, and now everyone's talking about it. Your status still says single. It looks bad. I blinked. Mine says single because yours says single. He finally looked at me, in the mirror, not directly. Yeah, because you haven't done anything worth posting about yet. I felt my brain stutter. What's that supposed to mean? I asked. He rolled his eyes like I was being slow. Like, I don't know. Plan a trip somewhere aesthetic. Buy something big. Do a really romantic gesture, something that makes good content, you know? Once you do something post-worthy, then I'll update it. That's fair, right? There was a beat of silence where the only sound was the air conditioner clicking on. 2 years. 2 years of dating. 2 years of supporting his content creator journey. 2 years of living in the background of his life, cropped out of shots, name never mentioned, relationship unconfirmed. Fair, I said. The word slid out of my mouth before I could stop it, flat and automatic. He smiled at his reflection, like we'd just successfully negotiated a brand deal. See? Knew you'd get it. He went back to taking photos. I went to his kitchen, opened his fridge, and stared at the half-empty oat milk like it might have answers. Here's the thing. Nobody tells you about dating someone whose entire self-worth is tied to likes, saves, and brand emails. Everything becomes content. Every date is a potential reel. Every sunset is an opportunity. Every outfit is a campaign. And if you're not content, you're nothing. I'd been helping him with everything. 8 months ago, I bought him a camera upgrade, $20,400 I could have put toward my own student loans. Then a lighting setup, $890 charged to my card temporarily because his sponsorship money was delayed. Every weekend, I drove him to different content locations, rooftop parking garages, pretty cafes, random alleyways with interesting brick. I held his phone while he filmed transitions. I edited his videos late at night because he didn't have time to learn. But I wasn't in any of the posts, not once. If I appeared at all, it was as a cropped-out shoulder, a blurred reflection in a window, or a conveniently anonymous hand holding his coffee. He never tagged me, never mentioned me, never called me his girlfriend online. Why? I'd asked once, months ago, when we were lying in bed and his phone screen lit the ceiling like a low-budget planetarium. My audience doesn't want to see couple stuff, he'd said. They follow me for me. But he'd post his friends' anniversaries, his sister's engagement, even his cousin's proposal video, complete with slow-motion confetti. Just not us. That night, after the post-worthy comment, I drove home in silence. My car radio stayed off. My brain didn't. What was I doing? I manage budgets and logistics for a living. I can color code a spreadsheet until it sings. I track every dollar that comes in and out of my life. But somehow I'd missed that I was spending more time, money, energy on his dream than on my own. I walked into my apartment, dropped my keys in the bowl by the door, and stood there for a long time. The quiet felt heavier than usual. I looked at my hands, the same hands that had held his camera for hours, steady and uncredited. Hands that clicked export on dozens of videos with his face front and center. Apparently, I said to my empty living room, I'm not worth posting about. It landed like a joke and a warning at the same time. I went to my desk and opened my laptop. My email pinged with automated bills, sale notifications, and a newsletter I never read. I skipped past all of it and opened a folder labeled His Stuff. Raw footage, edited reels, thumbnail drafts, color-graded images, hundreds of hours of my labor living in neat little rows of file names. I imagined all of it without me. Who would hold the camera? Who would drive him to rooftops at golden hour? Who would stay up until 1 a.m., fine-tuning the sound? The answer was clear. Someone else who didn't know better, or he'd finally have to pay for it. Saturday morning, my phone buzzed. Him. Don't forget, big beach shoot tomorrow. Need you to drive and help with shots. 8 a.m. Call time. A month ago, I would have texted back, got it, and rearranged my entire weekend for him. Instead, I stared at the message, feeling that post-worthy sentence sitting in my chest like a stone. I typed, erased, retyped. Finally, hey, I need to focus on some work stuff this weekend. Can't do the content shoot. The 3 dots showed up almost immediately. Him. Wait, what? I planned a whole beach aesthetic thing. I already told brands I'd have content by Monday. Me. I'm sorry, I'm swamped. Him. You told me you'd help. You can't bail. I need you. I stared at the words. There it was. Not, I want to spend time with you. Not, I'll miss you. I need you, as in your car, your hands, your free editing. Me. You told me you needed a driver and a photographer, not that you needed your girlfriend. There was a pause. Him. Don't be like that. You know how important this is to me. This weekend is huge for my content. Me. Yeah, I know. I put my phone face down on the table and just sat there, listening to my own heartbeat in my ears. Something in me shifted then. Not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet click of gears slipping into a new track. For 2 years, I'd been the behind-the-scenes crew of a show I wasn't allowed to be cast in. What if I stopped? Monday, on my lunch break, I stepped outside my office building and called an old friend, Jake, a professional photographer I'd met years ago at a mutual friend's wedding. He answered on the second ring. Lauren? Hey, long time. Hey, I said, tucking my hair behind my ear, nerves fluttering in my stomach. Random question. You still looking for assistants for wedding season? He laughed. Always. Why, you know someone? Yeah, I said, looking down at my hands again. Me. I've been doing photo and video work for free for the last 2 years. I think I'm pretty decent at it. He didn't hesitate. Then I definitely want to see your stuff. Send me some samples. If you're as good as I remember you being with a camera, I can get you on a wedding by next weekend. Next weekend. A paid gig. Actual appreciation. My skills, my name, my bank account. Okay, I said, feeling a slow, unfamiliar warmth spread through my chest. I'll send you a portfolio tonight. When I hung up, I had this strange thought. Maybe the first thing I did that was truly worth posting about would be something that had nothing to do with him at all. Jake kept his word. By Friday, I was standing in a sunlit botanical garden, holding a rented gimbal and wearing a black dress that actually had pockets, assisting on my very first paid wedding shoot. Paid. The word felt strange in my mouth, like it belonged to someone else, someone who hadn't spent the last 2 years being told she wasn't post-worthy. The bride's mother cried 3 times before noon, the groom's best man forgot the rings, and I spent 45 minutes chasing good lighting across a lawn. But every time Jake glanced over and said, "Great shot," something inside me tugged awake, like a muscle that had been asleep for years. By the time the reception ended, my feet hurt, my hair smelled like champagne, and my heart felt full. Not because it was glamorous, but because it was mine. I didn't hear from my boyfriend all weekend except one more irritated text on Sunday morning. Him. So you're really not coming? I rescheduled everything for you. I typed back simply, I can't. And I left it at that. Wednesday evening, I was sitting at my tiny kitchen table, editing footage from the wedding. My wedding, not his. When there was a knock at my door. Not a polite knock. A "someone is annoyed with you" knock. I opened it. He was standing there, arms crossed, hair perfectly tousled in that way that took him 45 minutes to style. "What's going on with you?" he asked, stepping inside before I even invited him. "You've been distant." I raised an eyebrow. "I told you I had work." "That's just it," he said, gesturing toward my laptop like it was contraband. "Since when do you do photography work?" I clicked pause on the reception footage. "Since I realized I'm good at it." He scoffed, actually scoffed. "From helping me?" "Yes," I said, "from doing all the camera work, driving, editing, lighting, free, because you didn't have time to learn." His jaw clenched. "So now you're what? Some kind of wedding photographer?" "Assistant," I corrected. "For now." He leaned against the wall, eyes scanning my equipment. "Well, that's actually kind of cool." He softened his voice in that smooth, manipulative way he used when he wanted something. "Maybe you could do a shoot for me this weekend. I'll pay you." I turned to face him fully. "You'll pay me," I said. "To help you, after 2 years of me doing it for free?" His cheeks reddened. I meant, like, I value your time. I'm booked. He blinked. Booked? Come on, Lauren. I'm sure you can make time for your boyfriend. I can't, I said evenly. I already committed to a client. Something in his expression cracked. An ugly blend of confusion and insult, like someone had told the sun it wasn't the center of the solar system after all. Fine, he snapped. Whatever. When you're done with this phase, let me know. I need new content anyway. I exhaled slowly. I'm probably not going to have time going forward. What? His voice sharpened. Why not? I'm focusing on paid work now. He blinked, uncomprehending. So, you won't help me anymore? Help implies you needed assistance, I said. You needed a photographer. Hire one. That's expensive. Professional work usually is. His mouth stayed open for a moment. Then he spun around and left, the door slamming hard enough to rattle a picture frame. I stared at the door long after he was gone, letting the silence settle. He wasn't angry because I said no. He was angry because I meant it. 2 weeks passed. I worked 2 weddings, a graduation shoot, and a newborn session. My editing improved. My confidence grew. My bank account breathed for the first time in months. My phone stayed quiet. Except for one message. Him. Can we talk? I feel like you're being distant. Me. I'm just focused on work. Him. What does that mean? Me. It means I'm done being free labor for someone who won't even admit we're together publicly. There was a long pause. Then, him. OMG, are you still on that? I told you, once you do something worth posting, I'll update it. My lips parted in disbelief. Something worth posting. Right, I typed. I'll let you know when I do. A month later, I did. But not in the way he expected. I met Daniel on a Sunday afternoon wedding shoot. Tall, warm smile, veterinary technician. Had maybe 200 Instagram followers, half of them dogs. He asked for my number so he could get the reception photos I took of his sister. We texted, then grabbed coffee, then dinner, then a movie where neither of us checked our phones once. Being with him felt easy, quiet in a way that didn't feel empty. No posing, no performance, no, wait, the lighting's better over there. Just being. One night, a little over a month after that last fight with my ex, Daniel and I were sitting at a small Italian place, eating lasagna and laughing about the time his cat jumped directly onto a lit candle during a Zoom call. He looked at me between bites and said, "You know, I really like you." I felt something warm unfurl in my chest. I really like you too. When we walked outside, the streetlights cast soft gold across the sidewalk. He reached for my hand. I didn't pull away. That night, when I got home, I opened Facebook. Relationship status. In a relationship. I added the photo Daniel had snapped earlier. Me laughing, head tilted, no makeup, no angles, no posing. Just real. I hit post. Then I put my phone down and went to take a shower. 10 minutes later, the first message arrived from an unknown number. Her friend. OMG, is this a joke? 30 minutes after that, him. Answer your phone. Then, him. Who is he? And more. Him. You're seriously dating someone else? Him. We're together. My notifications kept lighting up, one after another, until it looked like my phone screen was flickering. I turned it over, letting it buzz against the table until it finally stopped. Meanwhile, Daniel texted, "Home safe, tonight was great." I smiled. My ex could scream through 100 messages, but I was already gone. And for the first time in years, I wasn't going back. My phone looked like a live wire the next morning. Missed calls, voicemails, a cascade of angry paragraph texts, all from him. I didn't open them, not because I was scared, because I already knew exactly what they'd say. By the time I finished breakfast, curiosity got the better of me. I put in my headphones, took a breath, and tapped the first voicemail. His voice came through sharp, frantic. "What the hell is this? Call me back right now." Next, "I can't believe you're doing this. After everything, just call me." Next, "You owe me a conversation." 6 more voicemails. Then one with him crying, actually crying. "I thought we were working on things. I thought you were just busy, and now you're with someone else? How could you?" I deleted them all. My phone vibrated again. A text from his friend, the one who always posted inspirational quotes about loyalty while cheating on his own girlfriend. Really mature, posting your new relationship while you're still with someone. I replied, "I'm not with anyone. I've been single for over a month." His friend, "She thinks you guys are still together." Me, based on what? The relationship she refused to acknowledge publicly? His friend, "You're being a jerk." I blocked him. I'd wasted enough life on people who couldn't tell the difference between reality and the version they curated online. That afternoon, he texted again. Him, "We need to talk about this." Me, "No, we don't." Him, You can't just move on like I meant nothing. I deserve an explanation. I stared at the phone for a moment, then typed. You told me you'd update your relationship status once I did something worth posting, so I did. I moved on. Him. That's not what I meant. Me. What did you mean? Him. I meant like a romantic gesture or a trip. Something nice. Why would you do this to me? My jaw tightened. Me. Why would I do something romantic for someone who wouldn't even claim me publicly? He didn't respond for an hour. Then. Him. If you think she's better than me, you're insane. I have 34K followers. I'm going places. What does she have? Me. Me. A relationship status that says we're together. That's already more than you ever gave me. Block. He'd had his chances. But that wasn't the end. Not even close. The next day, my phone rang again. His sister. What the hell did you do to my brother? She demanded, skipping any greeting. Nothing, I said, opening my fridge and grabbing a soda. We broke up. He's devastated, Lauren. He's crying nonstop, and you just immediately move on? After everything he did for you? A bitter laugh slipped out of me. What did he do for me, exactly? He loved you. He loved what I did for his content, I corrected. There's a difference. She huffed. You're being cruel. I'm being honest. He wants to talk to you. There's nothing to talk about. He deserves closure. He got it. The relationship status update was pretty clear. I ended the call. For a moment, I leaned against the counter, feeling something heavy fall away from my shoulders. Not guilt, relief. But things escalated in a new direction. A direction I didn't expect. His mother called. His mother. I let it ring 3 times before answering. I raised my son better than to be treated like this, she snapped, voice tight with indignation. I shut my eyes. Here we go. Okay, I said calmly. What did he tell you? That you controlled his career. That you demanded to be in his posts. That you were jealous of his success. I bit back a humorless laugh. None of that is true. Are you calling my son a liar? I'm saying he left out a few details, I said. Like the fact that I bought his camera equipment and lighting setup and edited his videos for free for 2 years. You're supposed to support your partner. And I did, for 2 years. While he refused to acknowledge I existed publicly. Silence crackled on the line. Her voice softened for a moment. He's heartbroken. Then he should have treated our relationship like it mattered when he had it. She hung up. I stared at the screen until it dimmed. This was exactly why I never wanted to date someone who lived inside a phone. When their self-image cracked, they'd drag the whole world into the fallout, including their families. Monday morning, I stepped into work and my phone buzzed with an email from an unknown address. Subject, she needs help. I don't usually do this, but he's in really bad shape. Barely eating. His content is suffering because he can't focus. He's losing followers. You did this. I froze. Not he's depressed. Not he's heartbroken. His content is suffering. That told me everything. I typed back. I didn't do anything to him. I simply stopped doing everything for him. There's a difference. The reply was instant. You're being selfish. After everything he did for you. I closed the email. He had trained them well. Friday night, I was out to dinner with Daniel when my phone erupted. Notifications flashing nonstop. Instagram, Facebook, even Twitter. I opened one. He had posted a 3-part story slideshow about toxic relationships, people who pretend to support you, and narcissists who sabotage your success. He didn't name me. He didn't need to. Comments poured in. OMG, who is this about? You deserve better. Some people are so jealous of others' success. Daniel looked up from his pasta. Everything okay? I tilted the screen. Just storm damage. He studied me for a moment, then said, Don't engage. I know. You want to. A little. Don't, he said softly. He wants a reaction. That's his fuel. I set the phone face down. For the first time in a long time, I didn't play his game. Let him monologue for his audience. I wasn't part of the cast anymore. But Monday brought the explosion. A letter in my mailbox. A legal letter. He filed a small claims case against me. $3,290 for services rendered and equipment borrowed and not returned. I laughed, out loud, on my porch. My neighbor walking her dog paused mid-step. You okay? Never better, I said, waving the letter. Inside, I called a lawyer friend. Can he actually do this? I asked. He can file, my friend said. Winning is a different story. Do you have proof the equipment was a gift? Receipts, credit card statements, texts where he thanked me for them. Perfect. Keep everything. This is harassment. We can draft a counterclaim. And in that moment, standing there with a legal threat in one hand and my dignity in the other, I felt a single clear thought. He still thinks I'm the girl who won't fight back. He's wrong. I brought my lawyer everything. Receipts, screenshots, bank statements, text messages that could double as a museum exhibit titled, "How to Train Your Girlfriend into Being Unpaid Staff." My lawyer read through the folder, eyebrows rising higher with each page. "So all this equipment was purchased by you?" he asked. "Yes, as gifts." "And you performed photo and video work for him consistently for how long?" 2 years, I said, almost every weekend. He nodded slowly, tapping his pen against the desk. "And he never compensated you?" "No." "And now he's claiming you owe him money?" "Yes." My lawyer leaned back in his chair and let out a long breath. "Lauren," he said, "this is one of the most ridiculous cases I've ever seen, which is saying something." I almost laughed. Almost. He continued, "We'll file a counterclaim, document everything, and place a monetary value on your unpaid labor." "Value?" I echoed. "Yes," he said, already typing. 2 years of weekend photo and video work, editing, color correction, location assistance. At market rate? He glanced at me. "Easily over 15,000. I blinked. 15,000? And that's conservative. My jaw tightened. He used me, and now he wanted to pretend I owed him? No, not anymore. My lawyer drafted the response. Receipts proving the camera and lighting were gifts. Texts where he thanked me for them. Screenshots showing his refusal to acknowledge our relationship publicly. Documentation estimating 15 hours worth of unpaid labor. A clear statement. If he wanted to pursue this, we would countersue. "Send it," I said. 3 days later, my lawyer called. "His attorney reached out," he said lightly. "Your ex would like to drop the case." Fantastic choice. But that was only Act 1. Act 2 came the following weekend. I was on Daniel's couch, curled up with a blanket, eating popcorn and watching a movie. His cat, Pumpkin, was sprawled across my lap like a furry paperweight. My phone buzzed. Daniel nudged me gently. "Ignore it," he murmured. I flipped it over anyway. My ex had posted a new series of stories. Being silenced by people with more money. Fighting for justice. Starting a legal fund for those who have been mistreated. His face filled the screen, soft lighting, fake tears glistening, the whole pity arc aesthetic. I tilted my head. Is he serious? Daniel took the phone, skimmed through the stories, and let out a soft whistle. He's really trying to make you the villain. Yep. That doesn't bother you? It would, I admitted, if I cared what his followers thought. But they don't know me. They know his version of me. Daniel kissed my forehead. Good. Keep that energy. I rested my head on his shoulder. I am. And I meant it. I had no interest in a public brawl. I wasn't going to argue with someone who lived in an Instagram story. Let him perform. I was done being cast. But life had one more twist waiting for me. Monday morning, while packing my lunch, I opened my DMs. A message from someone I didn't know. Just wanted to say, you dodged a bullet. I know him in real life. He's been through 3 relationships in 5 years. Same pattern every time. Uses women for free work, never claims them publicly, moves on when they demand commitment. You're not the first. Won't be the last. I stared at it, saved it, didn't respond, then closed the app. The truth was like ice water down my spine, but also clarifying. I hadn't been special. I'd just been next. And then came the message that made me sit down. His business partner, another content creator. Hey, I know things are messy between you two, but we need someone to shoot a sponsored post next week. It's paid. $500. You interested? I almost choked on my coffee. Daniel, who was buttering toast beside me, raised an eyebrow. Everything okay? They want to hire me, I said, for a shoot, for him. Daniel blinked slowly. The audacity. Right? I typed back. No. Come on, they replied. It's good money. I charge $800 for commercial shoots now, I wrote. And even if it were $8,000, I wouldn't work with him. That's petty. That's boundaries. They stopped responding. 2 days later, my ex posted a story filled with sad quotes about people who abandon you when you need them most. Daniel looked over my shoulder. When does this end? When he accepts he can't manipulate me back into his life, I said. Or when he finds someone new to use, whichever comes first. Daniel gave me that soft, steady look I was learning to love. You sure you're okay? I nodded. Honestly, yes. Because for the first time, I didn't feel responsible for fixing anything. I wasn't patching holes he punched in his own life. I wasn't absorbing his anger or guilt. I wasn't trying to justify my boundaries. I was just living. And the more I did, the faster the storm behind me started to wear itself out. It took 3 more weeks, but eventually, the shouting turned into silence. A quiet, heavy silence. The kind that follows when a performance has no audience left. The silence didn't last long. Not because he reached out. He finally stopped that. But because word travels, especially in the small ecosystem of content creators who spend half their lives stalking one another's engagement metrics, I heard about it first through a friend of a friend, then through someone Daniel knew, then through a DM from a woman I'd never met who opened with, "Girl, you won't believe this." According to her, his follower count had dropped from 34,000 to just under 29,000. People follow lifestyle creators for the aspirational fantasy. They don't stay for 30 straight days of breakup monologues, vague threats, and self-pity. His healing journey content flopped. His motivational quotes were met with eye-roll emojis. 2 of his sponsorships quietly cut ties. Turns out, brands don't like partnering with people whose personal drama spills all over their business. Who knew? His last big attempt at reclaiming relevance was a poorly disguised morning routine ad for some overpriced skincare line. The comments were brutal. "Isn't this the guy who keeps posting about his ex? Dude, heal offline. Wasn't he starting a legal fund last week? Anej." The post was deleted within hours. And then, he moved back home, with his parents. Not because he wanted to. Because rent in our city requires consistency, and consistency requires stability. And stability requires an actual job, none of which he had managed to hang on to. He sold the camera I bought him, listed it on a resale site, like $800. He needed the money more than the persona. Meanwhile, my life moved forward without a single stage transition. I was shooting weddings every other weekend, helping Jake with engagement sessions, editing newborn photos, capturing real moments, messy, joyful, unscripted. Moments that didn't need ring lights or perfectly curated brunch tables. Daniel and I grew closer, not with declarations or dramatic gestures, just with small, consistent things. He cooked for me. I brought him coffee at work. We watched movies with pumpkins sprawled across both our laps. One evening, he looked at me over homemade pasta and said, "If you ever want to move in together, I'm open to that conversation." I smiled. "Are you ready for my 3-page lease analysis?" He laughed. "Absolutely." A month later, we signed a lease. Together. No secrecy, no conditions, no waiting until the content was right. I posted a picture of our new place, boxes stacked in the corner, Pizza Hut on the counter, pumpkin climbing inside a cupboard. He posted one too. Not for likes, not for image, just because he was happy. It felt novel. A partner who didn't hide me, didn't negotiate visibility, didn't treat love as leverage. A partner who wanted the world to know he was with me. Then came the moment I didn't expect. 3 weeks after we moved in, I saw him. Not through a screen, not in a story, not in someone's forwarded DM. In person. The grocery store. Daniel and I were grabbing ingredients for dinner, pasta again, because apparently that was our love language, when I heard someone say my name. A voice I recognized instantly. I turned. He was standing at the end of the aisle, holding a basket with 2 apples and a protein bar. Next to him was a woman. Pretty, polished, clearly aware of which side of her face photographed better. His new girlfriend. Her face was visible in every picture he posted with her. Tagged, featured, celebrated. I studied the scene for one suspended second. His arm around her, her leaning into his side. Both of them wearing that slightly too-posed look couples have when they're used to performing for an audience. And something in me quietly, simply clicked. He hadn't changed. He'd just replaced the supporting actress. His eyes met mine, a flicker of guilt, then panic, then something that looked almost like hope. Maybe he expected me to walk over, say hello, ask how he was doing, make it easy for him. I didn't. I just turned away and grabbed a box of pasta from the shelf. Daniel touched my arm. Was that weird? Little bit, I admitted. You okay? I took a breath, deep and steady. Yeah, I said. Actually, I am. And I was. Because for 2 years, he treated me like a blurry background figure in his own life. Someone to crop out, someone to hide, someone to use. And now? Now he was the one I didn't recognize in public. Now he was the stranger. Now he was the blurry background. I didn't owe him acknowledgement. He finally got treated the way he treated me, like someone I didn't know. On the ride home, I stared out the window, watching the city lights blur into gold streaks across the glass. I wasn't angry, I wasn't sad, I wasn't bitter. I was free. He wanted something worth posting about. I gave him something worth posting about. It just didn't involve him. And that's the thing about people who want to keep you invisible while using you to hold up their whole world. Eventually, you stop holding. Eventually, they fall. And eventually, you walk away. Not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Because the truth is simple. The right person doesn't need content. They need you. The right person doesn't hide you. They hold your hand in a grocery store aisle without checking the lighting. The right person doesn't treat you like equipment. They treat you like a partner. And once you've had that, you never go back to blurry.